I'm Sally Mills of Lavolta and Lavolta Principles, and welcome to Digital Bullets 2010. We've asked some industry experts to share their thoughts on issues and developments in the digital industry. We've given each person 20 seconds to answer those questions, or else they get the chop. So we'll be broadcasting a sizzling digital bullet on a regular basis, one question answered with many different points of view. Hope you enjoy. Apart from building the NBN, what is the single most useful thing the government could do to facilitate the growth and development of the whole digital sector or one particular segment of it in Australia? What initiative or position or action or investment would you like to see the federal government take?
I'd really like to see our governments help small businesses get online. According to the most recent census data, that only 50% of small businesses out there have a website. You know, most have email accounts and doing things, but a lot of them aren't getting the efficiencies and potential sales opportunities that could be generated through, engaging and really being online.
Education. I think that from preschool all the way through to universities, I think there needs to be a complete overhaul of the curricula from age 3 up to 21, 22, so that digital, whether that's seen as media or it's seen as an economy or as a platform or a communications tool or just a complete ecosystem, is part of everything that school children, college graduates and university students do.
So in terms of what specifically I'd like the federal government to do would be to invest in building startups. I mean, a lot of the early programs have now been cut. We do have a lot of interesting companies who are now starting to export their services, particularly in mobile, but all sorts of other applications as well. So I think we need to nurture that.
The best thing government can do for the digital sector is to get out of its way. The digital sector doesn't need government to help it grow. Nothing can stop it.
I personally like to see the government stay out of the internet. I think it's the time to pull out John Perry Barlow's internet statement of independence that he wrote, I don't know, must be 15 years ago about the internet and hand that over to the government. I think the less meddling we get from the government in the internet, the better things are going to be.
To take a more active role in funding new startups. Australia with classic tall poppy syndrome. We like to see things fail. There's a lot of fantastic ideas in this country. Many of them go offshore because they can't secure the resources from the private equity markets and VC firms here. As we are a small country, the federal government should play a more active role, just as they have in the past with other innovations.
I'd like to see a position of less regulation. I think this government has had a history of trying to do more in regulation, whether it's trying to get industry to self-regulate or impose regulations itself. I think that stifles innovation and competition.
I don't believe our industry needs subsidies. Investment is a great strategy for particular things. What I would like to see is investment in other sectors and other industries. The clever people that work in health, in science, in technology, in the cultural arts, if we invest in those sectors and industries, then it just has a lovely flow-on effect because our industry is integrated and inherently important to all of those other sectors.
Being able to not only support startups and small businesses, but also help large corporates and spend R&D money a bit more wisely. I think that the recent changes to R&D taxes and all that stuff, but the removal of the R&D start grants have sort of created some issues. So I think we're spending a lot of money in science and technology, but not at the coalface of helping businesses go and have that crack at the global market.
The best thing the federal government can do is get out of the way. Reduce taxes, provide incentives for innovation. Don't do stupid things like filtering of the internet and all that other stuff. At the end of the day, those in small business should be allowed to get on and do their job.
I'd like to see the federal government take a carrot rather than stick approach to how they manage consumer protection and privacy within the mobile industry. We certainly, through evolving technologies, the amount of data that is being collected and shared between individuals and location, running a fairly sensitive line in terms of how that information can be used from a marketing perspective.
The internet filter and just scrapping the whole idea because it's pointless and counterproductive and unlikely to achieve the outcomes anyone wants it to. Certainly the intentions are good, but being able to actually filter the internet is fairly slim.
Certainly something that can be done relatively quickly and easily would be for the government to try and balance the scare campaign with the populace about the dangers of the internet with a more positive message about what digital is going to bring to them in terms of Australian society and how they live. We've had 15 years of campaigns on the sides of buses warning everybody about the dangers of online, but almost nothing really about actually there are great things you can do with online.
I would love to see the investment at a federal level be in innovation around virtual communication. You know, it seems that a lot of energy goes into, and taxpayer dollars goes into, protecting privacy and you know, obviously we've got the no clean feed, and you know, it's, you know, the internet censorship, and I think there's a focus. Whilst I think that's important, I don't necessarily agree that that's the way forward.